So is weight loss dangerous? Seems like a silly question, doesn't it? Because most people assume that if you're overweight or obese, you are at risk for dying younger. And especially if you develop type 2 diabetes with your overweight or obesity. You can die 8 years or more before you should have. And those last few years are not good years, right? They're filled with health problems like stroke, heart disease, gastroparesis, where your stomach doesn't operate properly, peripheral vascular disease, amputations, kidney failure, blindness. So a lot of problems. So people think it's a good idea to lose weight, and it is, if you lose weight the right way. Here's the problem. The vast majority of people lose weight the wrong way and incur a whole range of problems as a result. Now, this is because most efforts at weight loss involve reducing calorie intake. It seems to make intuitive sense, right? Reduce your calorie intake, continue to burn calories, and you burn the fat off. But that's not how it works. For years, this stumped people, stumped scientists, stumped doctors, and they talked about silly ideas like set points, that is, your body got accustomed to being a certain weight and it would fight to maintain that weight, and if you lost, say, 10 pounds, you would come right back. Well, there is no such thing as a set point. That was a misnomer. That was a misinterpretation. It was just a speculation, and it's not true. Here's the problem. You lose weight by reducing calories. It comes in a number of labels. It could be move more, eat less. It could be one of those branded weight loss programs you pay a lot of money for. It could be some meal replacement program where they provide meals to you that are reduced in calories. It could be a smartphone app that purports to identify stress triggers and tells you you're stressy or you're bored, don't go to the refrigerator or do something else besides eat. So there's those methods. Then there's pharmaceuticals, like the very popular GLP-1 agonists. Those drugs reduce your interest in food. It slows stomach emptying. And makes you nauseated. And so you become indifferent to food and your calorie intake plummets. It drops significantly. Other drugs work by different mechanism, but the same process occurs. That is a reduction in calorie intake. And then even bariatric procedures like lap band or gastric bypass all involve a reduction in stomach volume, so you take in less food. So regardless of the method, reduced calorie intake, pharmaceuticals, bariatric procedures, they're all variations on the same theme, reduce calorie intake. We now know people who lose weight by those methods. We know this by large tracking of large populations of people in such studies as Epic Norfolk, NHANES, and others. In total, tens of thousands of people. It's quite clear if you lose weight by those methods, you're going to die younger. So, rock in a hard place, right? If you're overweight or obese, you may die younger. If you lose weight by the wrong method, you may die younger, and by many years. Well, what underlies this process? Loss of muscle. Just about nearly all efforts at weight loss involve a loss of muscle. Typically, if you lose 40 pounds, for instance, 25% of that, 10 pounds, will be muscle. That's a lot of muscle. And we know now from two very solid studies from the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, that when you lose weight, you not only lose muscle, you reduce your basal metabolic rate, or BMR. BMR is the rate at which your body burns energy for the work of living. The energy required for such things as breathing, digestion, production of proteins, all the things that keep you alive, and putting aside any exercise or strenuous effort, just living, sleeping, going about your business. That's your BMR. When you lose that much muscle, your BMR drops by about 25%, and it does so virtually permanently, meaning you lose weight, you lose muscle, your BMR drops, and then you maintain, let's just say you maintain a low-calorie lifestyle, maybe 1,200 calories per day, which is very difficult, and an exercise program that includes resistance exercise. You will regain the weight, and it's going to be all fat. So regardless, calorie reduction diets, GLP-1 agonists and other pharmaceuticals, bariatric procedures, if you don't remedy the situation, you'll die younger because of the loss of muscle and drop in BMR and regain of fat weight, not muscle weight. Well, why is loss of muscle so important? Well, loss of muscle means you're accelerating your path to falls, fractures, frailty, loss of independence, and multiple metabolic distortions that will accelerate your death. So we don't want to lose weight by cutting calories. So how do you lose weight? Well, this is what my programs do. We reduce weight by doing a number of things. We never reduce calories. You can do so for a brief period, like time-restricted eating or intermittent fasting for a brief period, but never prolonged, never more than 72 hours, because that's when you risk a reduction in BMR and loss of muscle. So we never reduce calories. We reduce foods that trigger insulin and glucose, because that's what leads to insulin resistance, the process that drives weight gain. So we eliminate wheat, grains, and sugars. We address common nutrient deficiencies, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, iodine, magnesium, that when put together normalize insulin resistance. And then we address microbiome issues that reduce SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, that is a situation in which fecal microbes have infested your small intestine, and allow their breakdown products to enter the bloodstream, endotoxemia, a major driver of weight gain, muscle loss, and other factors that lead you down the path of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, dementia, breast cancer, and other health conditions. So that menu of strategies allows you to lose fat, specifically abdominal visceral fat, the fat that drives your inability to lose weight. So it targets that weight specifically while preserving or increasing muscle, especially if you use my Lactobacillus reuteri yogurt, because that has properties all of its own that restores youthful musculature. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave the link to my programs that show you how to do this. It's also articulated in my Super Gut book. But in my website, you can join the conversations. We talk about these things in two-way Zooms. We have a huge discussion forum. I have thousands of blog posts. We have hundreds of videos that you can learn, get acquainted with these methods so that you don't die 6, 7, 8, 10 years sooner than you should have because you took the wrong path in trying to lose weight.